there's three main features that came with the new version. Two of them are this inline action tag and inline piping. Actually, there were four, because the other one was that you could see the calculated field and the action tag values in the fields. So this inline action tag, basically, if you scroll down here, what it does is it allows you to have a PDF or an image file that you have in the file upload field. Normally it shows, like if you have an upload field and you upload an image or a PDF, what shows is the name of the file, and then you have to click it to download it in order to view it. What this inline action tag does is allows you to see the image or the file within the browser window, so you don't have to download it to view it. And then the piping allows you to pipe that image or PDF to another field or instrument. And so that's basically it, but there's some cool things that you can do. This is like a wall of text, so trying to break it all out, reading it, they really got to learn how to use, paragraphs to make it readable. But one of the big things is that you can set the width or the height of your image or your PDF. So when you have a PDF, it displays as the full width of the window if it's left, vertical, or horizontal. If it's right, it's only the width of that field, and it's only 300 pixels high. But images will display the full height and width of the image. So you can specify your image and your height, and you can do it with pixels, or you can do it with percentage values. So if you just did one value, like this was like 50%, it would just be 50, like here, 50%. But if you did width and height, it's similar to like an HTML tag or, an attribute where you specify they're in a specific order. So the first value is going to be the width. The second value is going to be the height. And with a PDF, you would just say that it's 100%, which would be 300 pixels. It would be the width of the window. But then if you wanted it to be taller, you would make it 600 pixels or however, because the default is 300. So with that, I just created a quick project so we could see how this works. And so I have an upload file field here. It's just upload. And I've set it to left vertical, so that way it uses the whole window width. And all you do is you just put in this inline action tag like this. And let me open up the record status dashboard. So you can see here now that if I save and go to the next form, or I'll save and stay on this form, when it displays the image that I've uploaded, but also has the download link here. So you don't have to download it in order to see what the image is. Same thing with, I believe it's record 2 that I have. Oh, it must have erased the uploads that I had. So here's consent. This is a PDF. So now you can see that it automatically pulls in the consent form. And this is 4 pages. This is our COVID antibody consent. I just needed something that, I could use. But you could have this, like if you have to attach somebody's consent, you can put it directly in their record and they can view it. They don't have to download it. And if we wanted to change the size of this, so let's go back here. And so if that U of A logo was too big, we could just say, 25%. and it shrinks down to 25%. The downside is that if you had that and your PDF or your PDF now is 25%. But if you had the regular PDF window was too small, and let's say for this field, all we're going to be doing is putting in consent PDFs, you would make this 100%, and then you could make this 900 pixels. So now you would have a full window for the PDF to view. If we went back to the first record, then the U of A logo would be stretched beyond belief. Weird way, So you would have to make sure that you knew exactly what you were putting in there, or you would just leave everything at 100% and, it would just display the way it's supposed to be displayed. So then the next thing is the inline piping. So if let's say you had, let me go back and change these back to 100%.
That's really cool.
So one of the things you could do, I guess, is if you had this information and you didn't want it as an upload field, because every time you see it, it's as an upload field. So you would see the image or the PDF, and then you would see this file link. But if you just wanted to see the image or you just wanted to see the PDF, then you would use the piping, the inline piping. And what you do with that is you create a field, a descriptive text field, and you just, within the square brackets, you just add the name of the field like you would normally do for piping. And then you would just have : inline. And what that does is that just pulls in that image or PDF and displays it by itself. Or it should. There, I think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Yeah. So here it would just be the PDF for that first record. If we go to record 1, then it's just the logo. So you could use this if you had to, if you have a project where you're pulling in information that has to be vetted first, and then you're passing it on to a user. You could have an instrument that has all these consent forms or whatever you need that you can see. And then once they're vetted, then you can pass them on and the user can see them, but they're not necessarily downloadable. I guess with a PDF, it has native actions in there where you can download stuff. I was trying to think of a way for, for example, if we had the, if you had a project that had a consent form, because the problem with this is that this consent form would have to be uploaded to every record. There isn't a way to have this uploaded once and then displayed every time a new record is created. I was trying to think of a way to use piping or the, what's the other one? Not the special functions.
Yeah, but if that's the case, if you're talking about something like the consent form for the antibody study, you just put it in the way you put it in there. I mean, so you could see it.
Yeah, because with the antibody study, they see it as text, but then when they agree to it, then it generates the PDF. I was trying to think of a way to have this display as a field for everything. So you would just have the consent that you've uploaded, and they see it that way.
See, I'm thinking more of something like, let's say, and this makes me ask a question. So first of all, let me ask the question. So if, let's say that you did the inline action tag and you had the consent form, okay, as one of the upload fields, and it says consent form upload, and then you you don't show it. You just upload it, right? So it only shows the link. But
Mhm.
then on a different instrument, you use the inline piping and you say, you're going to display it there, correct? Or is it only showing what was on the first form?
So it would only show. So you're saying that if we went back to the first instance here, and this just had the link, it didn't have the inline property.
Correct.
And then they would, so if they downloaded it or signed it and then uploaded it, then they would be able to see. We would be able to see the signed version with the piping.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd be able to do that. I don't think it needs to have the piping. I don't think it needs to have the action tag here in order to be seen with the piping.
Okay.
I think they're separate functions.
I'm thinking so too. But here's where I'm going with this. So let's say that you have just an instrument that says view consent or something like that. And you have a monitor that's monitoring your study. And rather than having to download the consent that's attached, and yeah, there may be a hard copy in a binder or something, but if they just wanted to see the signed consent, they could go to that instrument like you have it set up, and they could just view the consent right there, and they wouldn't have to download it. In fact, that instrument theoretically could be hidden from them. They only see the what you're just seeing, so they can't even download the consent.
The problem, though, is that they would need to upload the consent for every record. Because
Right.
if I went back to here and I added a new record, then they would basically have to upload the blank consent again. I was trying to think of a way that if you could upload it once and use the piping and the what are they called? Special variables, smart variables. I was trying to think of a way to do the piping and the smart variables to where you could have sort of like a folder or like a little area or one instrument that is hidden that has all your documents and images on it that you can pipe throughout the rest of your project.
I was just thinking, so if you want a way to store the signed consent, yeah, you'd have to scan it or take a picture of it or something one way or another. But then you'd attach that to the project so that you have a signed copy of the consent. But that way, on that added page, you could just scroll through and see that it was signed and move on, rather than having to download it and see that it was signed or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point.